Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, the Thirsty Thursday edition of The Rundown. We're coming at you live from SHOT Show 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the, where are we at?
Beretta Media Zone.
I was sure about to mess that up.
Hey, welcome to the Beretta Media Zone.
It's been a long day, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's a little late, as you can tell from the voice. We were up late, and now we're like working hard.
I went to bed on time. Back to my room in bed on time.
Yeah, you notice he didn't say what time.
On time.
Yeah, right.
On
anyway,
time.
Right. He went to bed on time. Okay.
Right before the sun went up or down.
Up or down. Right before the sun went up or down, one or the other.
Yeah.
But a good time was had, and a good time is still being had by all. And yet we are still able to come together so that we can share with you the news of the day, whether it be good or bad. That's right. And we got some interesting things to share with y'all. Let's start with, I call it 27 hypocrites. And I call it 27 hypocrites for one very simple reason. These were individuals, 27 senators, who in 2017, when President Donald Trump was encouraging members of the Senate, was encouraging Mitch McConnell, who was the majority leader of the Senate, to do away with the filibuster so that they could pass some stuff that he wanted to pass. These 27 senators all wrote a letter saying, no, we cannot get rid of the filibuster. We will become a banana republic. It will be chaos. You'll have cats marrying dogs, and oh my God, it'll all be horrible.
Mass hysteria.
Cats marrying dogs. It'll be horrible. And in the end, what wound up happening was Mitch McConnell did not do away with, he wound up not doing away with the filibuster. Well, those same 27 senators have turned around and voted to end the filibuster in order to be able to pass the federal takeover of state elections. I think then calling them the 27 hypocrites fits.
No, I think you're right. It's exactly what happened. You had, again, there has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with party. It has to do with, only being loyal to their. It's no different than saying, I am loyal to the party, and the party is loyal to me. It has nothing to do with you, the citizen, you, the voter. It has everything to do with them and their job and playing games with you.
Yeah, all they want to do is they want power. And, that's the difference. And, folks, I know there are a lot of people out there who want to say there's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. I will tell you this. Republicans did not get, even though the president was putting pressure on them, they opted not to undo or change the rules in the middle of the game. Well, now the Democrats are pushing to change the rules in the middle of the game, right? They have the power to do it. And they had the power to do it, and they didn't do it. Now, by the way, they have the power now if they were able to convince some of their fellow Democrats. Two of their fellow Democrats decided they weren't going to do it. So, yay for them for at least sticking up for their principles.
That's right.
Yes, we are very, very happy that there are at least some folks who are interested in standing up for principles. All right, moving right along. Now we've got an issue. Now this was an interesting one. So yesterday we talked about Carhartt, right? Carhartt has basically said even though President Biden's vaccine mandate has been overturned by the federal courts, they decided they were going to force their employees to get vaccinated. Well, one would think that a liberal organization like Starbucks would probably follow suit. But guess what, Mikey? They didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy. You get Carhartt, you're a tough guy, outdoor gear, cowboy gear, working the ranch kind of stuff. That's what I think of when I think of Carhartt, just real tough guy kind of clothes, working clothes.
Right.
And they said that after the Supreme Court Supreme Court overturned the president's executive order, it said you cannot mandate employers over 100 to get the mandatory vaccinations or COVID testing for employees, exemptions to federal agencies and anybody in a federal building. They said So the Supreme Court came down on the side of anti, vaccination efforts. So that was a good thing. But Carhartt, you didn't expect to go there, to fight that. Even more shocking is that Starbucks comes out and says, "No, we're okay with that. We're not going to make our employees get the testing. We like the Supreme Court decision."
Right. Well, and I don't know that they like the Supreme Court decision as much as they probably recognize that their employees don't want to have to get the vaccination. At least they're at least trying to honor the rights of their employees.
True, very true. I guess how hard is it to track the desires of a barista when it comes to vaccination efforts?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's not like they work there all the time, or they're in and out. So, I actually kind of, when I saw this story, I'm like, well, I bet you their workforce is mostly transient workforce anyway. I don't mean transients like living in the street. I meant like.
Well, but you got to figure.
Go.
So many people are quitting their jobs now in order to go to work for Starbucks, who's offering jobs at $20 an hour.
And no COVID, no vaccines,
and now no vaccines. I guess they're not going to have a hard time finding baristas.
No, not at all. And they'll probably be serving the person in front of me and taking forever and ever.
Right. Well, now, okay. So here's another one. Now this story I found incredibly interesting. So in California, only in California would you have a program that they're putting together in order to encourage people to volunteer, college students specifically to volunteer. They're going to pay them $10,000 to volunteer over a year. Now, Mike, last I checked, if someone is getting paid, doesn't that mean that they're not a volunteer? Aren't they actually an employee?
I'm thinking about going volunteering 4 or 5 times next year. I can use an extra, 40, 50K. But yeah, absolutely. Once you start to pay volunteers, you know what they're not anymore? Volunteers. They're employees at that point.
One would think this is not a hard concept to get.
Yep.
I mean, come on, California. For real. I mean, you got Silicon Valley there. You got the UC system. You'd think somebody would be smart enough to point that out.
Nope, definitely not. Not in this case.
Oh, Mikey, you look like you're about to fall asleep, sir.
No,
Time to wake up.
I'm staring at the sun, the light here.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna move right along. Maybe this one will wake us all up. So we've talked a little on this show about smart guns, but we've talked both on your radio show when I was doing Coffee with Craig. We've talked a lot about how bad smart guns are. Now you are both an FFL, as well as an instructor, as well as you work with law enforcement in the military. Please tell the folks how good smart guns are.
As good as you can throw them. That's about it. And if you're lucky, they'll let you throw them, and they don't get locked in the safe because you weren't able to get it out in time. A smart gun is great in concept. This is something that works great in the movies and works great in TV. But in reality, there's still miserable failures. At some point in the future, maybe they become one in sync with your DNA in your hands. You can shoot it. I'm not going to say no, right? Monkeys might fly out of my butt. You never know. But right now they're unproven technology. You have places like New Jersey that passed a law 12 years ago that said smart guns had to be in place in 10 years because they believed, I guess we were going to develop more alien technology and have them produce much quicker than we can. So they don't work. They don't work.
And when we say they don't work, the one thing you don't want to have, when you need your firearm, you don't want it to not work, right? That's kind of the point of having it.
It's a big deal.
There's a reason. That's the reason why you maintain it. That's the reason why you clean it. That's the reason why you practice and train with it, so that if ever the time comes that you need it, it actually works for you.
That's right.
One smart gun manufacturer had a little bit of a problem. His smart gun, it was basically a smart gun fail. New Lone Star Works, not so smart pistol, I like they call it. This is on Truth About Guns. Couldn't fire 2 rounds back to back. So basically, here's what happened. The guy basically gets up there. He says, "Okay, here's what we gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shoot a couple of rounds here and let you see how it works." And he went to fire the first one. The first round went. The second one, not so much. And by the way, that's going to take us into our parting shot where you're going to get to actually check out what happened. Check it out.
Where's my gun? Where's my gun?
Now,
Put the bad guys there. I need my gun. I need my gun.
the funny part about this was in front of their shareholders. This was a presentation that was done in front of their shareholders about how good their technology is. You know, what's funny is that I've seen, and one only has to go on YouTube and just Google it, and I've seen this sort of thing happen multiple times. I've seen people hack them multiple times. I mean, it's not, well, I guess you could say it's not rocket science in order to be able to in order to make these things not functional. It makes absolutely no sense that they would force this. In California, they keep introducing legislation to say once it's available, all guns are going to have to include this in order to be on the not unsafe handgun roster.
These are, again, you're talking about new firearms coming into the state, right?
Yes.
So, and they're not building them on Gen 1 and Gen 2 platforms. You know?
Right. So, anyway, it's just difficult because the fact that it just shows you that these folks are not living in reality. They watch James Bond movies. They watch stuff that comes out of Hollywood, and that's where The View, and that's where they get all of their ideas for anti-gun legislation. And then they think, oh, automatically it's going to work because I thought about it, so therefore it has to work. And when it doesn't, oh well.
Throw it at them.
We'll throw it at them. Anyway, folks, hey, Mike, let's do once again a real quick shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say our sponsors at Guerrilla Machining, Grid Defense, and of course, the California Republican.
Yes, folks, there's a ton of stuff going on in California right now. At CRA's website, there's going to be information that's going to be going up about key legislation, not just legislation, but also gun legislation, an opportunity for you guys to be able to take action on it. So please make sure, check out their website. The link is in the description of this video. And once again, we want to thank our sponsors who helped us to get here to SHOT Show. That's once again, Guerrilla Machining, Grid Defense, and a couple of other folks.
Oh boy, let's see, Caltech, Guntech USA, who else do we have?
Next Level Training.
Next Level Training. I'm sure we forgot one or two. Many apologies, and thank you so much for making this happen.
Excellent. So, folks, we're going to be out. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Please remember, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. With that, we are out.